we're going to open up with that. Matthew 8 and the word of Elohim, and I'm going to give you a moment to get it. Matthew 8 or Matthew 8. And the word of Elohim reads, when Yeshua came down from the mountainside, large crowds followed him. A man with leprosy came and knelt before him and said, Yahweh, if you are willing, you can make me clean. Yeshua reached out his hand and touched the man. I am willing, he said, be clean. Immediately he was cleansed of his leprosy. Then Yeshua said to him, see that you do not tell anyone, but go show yourself to the priest and offer the gift Moshe commanded as a testimony to them. Notice that he said to the man, he didn't say to a Christian man, it didn't say what type of man he was, it just said he was a man. He says, I am willing, and so he said to this man, be clean. Let's look at that. And let's also look at another instance when another person had leprosy, or some more people had leprosy. And Lucas, or Luke, or Lucia, 17, 11, we'll start there. Now on his way to Jerusalem, Yeshua traveled along the border between Samaria and Galilee. As he was going into a village, 10 men who had leprosy met him. They stood at a distance and called out in a loud voice, Yeshua, Master, have pity on us. When he saw them, he said, go, show yourselves to the priests. And as they went, they were cleansed. One of them, when he saw he was healed, came back, praising Elohim in a loud voice. He threw himself at Yeshua's feet and thanked him. And he was a Samaritan. Yeshua asked, were not all 10 cleansed? Where are the other 9? That was his question. Where are the other 9? Has no one returned to give praise to Elohim except this foreigner? Then he said to him, rise and go. Your faith has made you well. On today, I want to talk to you about kingdom living and how we need to reset our attitudes. So here we see in this particular instance, we see that Yeshua said out of everyone, we see that there were 10 lepers. Out of everyone, only 1 out of the 10 came back. And so just a background history of what we know about lepers. You can go back and do some research or study it on your own in Leviticus 13 and also Leviticus 14. But we know that, number one, lepers, they were forbidden to enter into the camp for those who are non-lepers. In other words, if you had leprosy, you had to stay outside of the city. You could not come in. And then also, back then, they talked in cubits, but back then the distance was about 16 feet. Does that sound familiar? Now, what are they saying now? How many feet? 6 feet, but back then it was 16. Why? Because leprosy was something it was worse than what this pandemic is right now. Leprosy was when the body was actually rotten. Body parts were falling off. You know, it's far worse than what we are facing right now. Okay, so there was a 16 feet distance. And then also a person with leprosy, they had to go into isolation for a cycle of 7 days. And also with that 7-day cycle, if they were not healed, they would have to go in for another 7-day cycle and another 7-day cycle. That number 7 is powerful. We're not going to get into all of that. Okay. Number 3, a person who had leprosy, they must go around announcing that they were unclean. Also, number 4, a person with leprosy must present a gift offering to the priest after being healed. All of this is relevant. I'll bring it together in one moment. And then also a person that was a leopard must wear torn clothes and have unkept hair. Why? So that everybody would know that you were contaminated. So just looking back at the content of what Yeshua was saying in Lucas, notice it says here that he was on his way to Samaria and Galilee, and they cried out from a distance. Sometimes we overlook things. This distance was actually a minimum of 16 feet distance. Why? Because of this leprosy was so contagious. And so notice that Yeshua told him to go show yourselves to the priest. Why? Because this is what they were supposed to do. These are laws that were already commanded, that they were supposed to do certain things. Also, when Yeshua responds, go to that side that says we must break. When Yeshua responded, he asked this question in Lucas 17:17. He said, were not all 10 cleansed? Where are the other 9? So we need to ask ourselves this question. When Yeshua, when he asks a question, is he asking the question because he doesn't know? When the Father, when he asks questions, is it because he doesn't know? When he asks Adam, where are you? Is it because he doesn't know? It's not that he doesn't know. He wants us to make sure that we understand and that he's getting ready to teach a particular thing, a particular lesson that he wants to bring out. So here it is. We must break the cycle that's keeping us bound. We must break it. So looking at this, Yeshua said, were not all 10 cleansed? Where are the other 9? So what cycle am I talking about? Look at verse 18. Has no one returned to give praise to Elohim except this foreigner? So we know that this person was a Samaritan. Then he said to him, rise and go forth. Look at this part. Your faith has made you well. So we see when we think about the word faith, we use this word faith religiously, especially in what I want to say in the church. We use this word faith religiously. But when we're looking at the Hebrew alphabet and we're thinking about the word faith is actually umuna. So it's not a religious adage or a cliche that we should use, but this word imuna, it is spelled Aleph, Mem, Vav, Nun, and Hai. I want you to look at this briefly. Faith, imuna, Aleph is dealing with the source. What is the source? The Father is our source. And then Mem, the strong, massive in the spirit, strong spirited. And then we have Vav, what is established or what's connected. Then we have the Hebrew alphabet Nun. Nun tells us that there's life breaking forth. Also, it tells me that I'm a son. I'm an eternal heir. And then we have Hey, which is a revelation. A revelation of what? A revelation of whatever is in heaven, let it be revealed right here on earth. So that's the word for faith. So when we look at that word faith, we shouldn't look at it in a religious way, but looking at it, what is exactly the Father? What is he saying to us when he's saying, behold, your faith has made you whole? We know that the righteous shall live, or the just shall live by his faith or her faith. But exactly what is the Father saying here? What was Yeshua saying to this man when he said, your faith has made you whole? So faith, just putting all of that together, is the life-giving spirit of the Father that has been established or connected into my life. And so when this life-giving spirit has been established or connected into my life, what happens? Heaven is being revealed right here on earth. Isn't that amazing? All of that from that Hebrew word imuna. Okay, and so also for those who can see this, I have it in red, a root word that's embedded in here, which is the root word amen. And this root word for faith, it's Aleph, Mem, Nun. So this is the life-giving spirit of the Father that gives me sonship. This is my inheritance as a son. So guess what? Guess what? Healing belongs to me. I'm a son. I'm an inheritance. I'm the one that's connected to the Father. And because I'm connected to him, heaven must be connected here on earth, because what? I'm revealing it right through the Father. I'm connected to him. Isn't that amazing? So faith is not just a word that we just need to throw around saying, oh, I got faith. Are you connected to the source? Is his word connected in you? And when his word is connected in you, heaven will touch earth through you.